Am I the a-hole for showing my coworker what just being honest can be like? I don't know how else to put it because it is a weird situation. Also, this is a throwaway because I don't want this on my main. I 26F started working at my job 6 months ago, and I immediately realized it was a horrible work environment. The men act like they're still in a frat house or something. There is one in particular that is like their evil leader. Let's call Jake 30-ish. He said he is just honest and talks about free speech or how he just says the first thing that comes to his mind. He is just disrespectful and a bad person, according to me. I started looking for a new job 3 months ago but haven't had any luck with the same pay, so I'm still here. As I said, he is cruel and mean with everyone, especially the women and a couple guys who aren't alpha enough. For more context, I have ADHD and other things, and I struggled a lot as a teen, early 20s to be kind to people and myself. I also still have the impulses to say all the mean things that come to mind, but I worked hard in therapy to stop those thoughts and redirect myself somewhere else. Anyway, I decided to give him the same treatment he gave everyone after he told a pregnant coworker he can't understand how her husband didn't cheat on her yet because she's a cow now. I started about 3 weeks ago. He came to talk to me and told me I'm basically a dude because I don't have enough chest, and I told him, Jake, are you balding or your forehead was always that inhumanly big? And so on. But yesterday we were talking with a few co-workers about all I cooked for New Year's because I tend to go overboard, and they were impressed with my dinner. He came and started saying nonsense and throwing insults, so I said, see, this is exactly why your daddy left you. And I continued with my conversation. Well, he talked to HR and I have an appointment to talk to them on Thursday. However, my co-workers said they would support me, and they decided to file complaints against Jake now and document his behavior. Apparently they already did, but HR just gave him a slap in the wrist, and they are angry now because they want to talk to me so fast. I'm not particularly scared about the appointment, but I wonder if I went a little too far. Yes, he started, but I don't tend to lower myself to bullies' levels, but I really didn't see any other way when HR never did anything about the complaints. I don't really want to apologize to him, but I'll do it if I cross a line. Because, as I said, I work hard in therapy to be as decent of a human as I can be, and maybe this wasn't the best way to handle all this. So AITAH. Some of UP's comments. Top comment. Dinabsu at 1, NTA. If HR requires an apology, you can always word the apology properly. I am sorry I made fun of your large forehead. I see now that going bald is making you uncomfortable, and I will not mention it again. OP. This is hilarious, but sadly I can't say this without losing my job. Documentation. I have everything documented. I didn't filed before because my co-workers said it was useless because every complaint was basically ignored before. Fickle Lemon 5982, NTA. But I would walk into that meeting with documentation from you and your other co-workers about the things he has said to each of you and let them know if they want to take disciplinary action against you. It wouldn't be advised until they take care of his issue. Should they decide to discipline you, I would take the evidence from your other co-workers and yourself, signed by each person, and let HR know you'll be talking to an attorney about harassment in the workplace and hostile working environment. HR is there to protect the company, not you. The minute they know there are serious issues, they'll suddenly address it. Also, do we know if Jake is friends with this HR person? Because that could explain the slap on the wrist. OP. This is a good idea, thanks. I don't know if he is capable of making friends, but is worth looking into that. Update post 1 week later. Well, I had my meeting with HR and it went relatively okay. First of all, I went on detective mode and I found out one of the HR guys, Dylan, was related to Jake. Their moms are cousins, so they don't have the same last name or anything. But I found Jake's mom's Facebook and then a picture with Jake's mom, Dylan, and his mom. I screenshotted it and I talked to my supervisor and he decided to come with me to the meeting. In the meeting there was Dylan, his boss, Jake, my supervisor, and me. Dylan tried to lead the meeting and suggested immediate termination, but my supervisor told him we will have our meeting with the other guy because I deserved a neutral meeting and showed both of them the picture. Dylan's face dropped, but he didn't say anything else after that and just left the room. The other HR guy talked to me and my supervisor and I told him my story and gave him like 12 notes, signed by my co-workers where they talked about their experiences with Jake. The HR guy called a couple of them, including my pregnant coworker, in his office too after dismissing me, and on Friday I had another meeting, but it was only me and the HR guy. I talked about how uncomfortable I felt and how everyone tried to do the right thing by reporting him, but they never did anything. He said he understood, and sadly Dylan was not impartial in his actions by covering for Jake, but that it was dealt with. He said I wasn't going to get written up or anything and that I'm in the clear, but he asked me to not repeat this, and I told him I wasn't planning on doing it again, and he just told me to go to him if something else happens. Yesterday I got to the office and everything was normal. But at noon, my supervisor came to find me and my pregnant coworker and told us that Jake and Dylan were let go, and Dylan might have some legal troubles with the company, but he couldn't discuss that, and asked us to not say anything about it to anyone else and that people would realize about Jake anyway. I also have a second interview in another company next week. I'm hopeful but also nervous because I had interviews before, but it didn't go anywhere in the end. And that's all. It was more dramatic than I expected. I thought they'd fire me and keep Jake or something, but I felt that Dylan was covering for Jake because their family relationship helped me tremendously. Thank you for the advice, it was really useful.